upon a time, there was a young mother who found herself in a quandary. Most of the time, she loved staying home as the primary caretaker for her two small children. This role was a decision made by both her husband and her. She was involved in music at her church. This also brought her joy, but something was still calling her to do more. She often found herself feeling bad that she didn't contribute to the household income, and part of her wanted to work outside the home to broaden her work experience. She often found herself not being able to fully enjoy her mothering or her professional roles, thinking she was not enough in either capacity. One afternoon, she became overcome with tears, not feeling good at all about what she saw as a lack of service to the world. Her oldest daughter was 3 years old. She heard her mommy crying and walked over to her. The little girl placed her tiny hand on top of her mother's, looked into her eyes, and said, "Mommy, you just need to listen to your heart and use your imagination." The wisdom that sprung from her toddler stunned the mother, stopping short the tears. The young mother looked at her little girl with amazement that such wisdom could come forth from such a young child. I was 26 when my daughter Beghein said that to me. Yes, I am and was that young mother who often questioned my worth by the amount of work I contributed to the world. Beghain's words of wisdom have been with me since that fortuitous day. Listen to your heart and use your imagination. Those simple words became a mantra to me. Through the years, I learned that this simple truth was a universal truth that, when applied, reaped handsome, transformational value. When your heart joins forces with your imagination, you have two dynamic tools to render transformational power. So let's unpack this and see how we can best implement these principles into our lives to obtain greater insight and deeper understanding towards consistently manifesting our heart's desires. You are the architect of your life, and you hold the keys to realizing your dreams. Do you know what dreams you have yet to realize? Have you spent time meditating and becoming clear about what your heart is calling you to be and do? Clarity is the first step towards this kind of transformation. You can't change what you can't see. It is your task to spend time with your heart. Listen to your heart. It has been waiting for you to take note of its desires, because your heart speaks the language of the Spirit, the language of love. Master Hamid Bey reminds us, when you receive these thoughts, pay strict attention to them and be very thankful in your heart for this marvelous contact with universal mind, the great positive mind. Love and gratitude are the great amplifiers of energy. When you meditate, your heart will communicate its wishes to you. Praying is your time to speak to God, and meditating is your time that when God speaks to you. Commit to a daily meditation practice to honor the sacred, and you will develop your spiritual ears and your intuition, and it will grow keener and sharper. Master Hamid Bey said that meditation is the seeking of God. It is God's good pleasure to help support us in our dreams, since those dreams are often linked to our spiritual purpose in this life. Your second step is to write down what comes to you. Give inspirations and ideas that come to you a place to land, in a journal, on a bulletin board, even on a vision board. This way, you can revisit these words of wisdom Nurture them, develop them, and apply them in your own life. You might consider developing a daily journaling practice. There have been times in my life when my confidence waned and I couldn't readily tell the difference between spiritually inspired ideas and my own wishful thinking. It eventually occurred to me to be very specific about how I would like my information delivered to me. I once asked God, speak to me in a way that is loud, brief, and to the point, so I know it's you. Amazingly, from that day forward, that is the way God speaks to me. Without fail, I don't ever need to second guess when I get information that is loud, brief, and to the point. I know that God is speaking to me in the language I understand to be sacred. You too can ask God to communicate with you in a specific way. Ask for what you need. Over time, you will recognize how God communicates with you, building trust that the guidance you're receiving is coming from the Creator and higher spiritual sources. Have you ever gone into meditation looking for the big aha to impart the wisdom of the ages to you? If it works that way for you, I'm happy for you and a wee bit envious. I rarely get the parting of the Red Seas kind of aha moments during meditation. My insights usually come later, sometime after meditation, usually when I'm doing something mindless, like household chores. Not very glamorous, but that's how it works for me. Regardless of how your spiritual wisdom appears, hold on to that magnetic energy of that information and then bring it out into the world. Pay attention to all of the signs and clues that are making themselves known to you. The universe cannot help but conspire with you to achieve your dreams, your goals. And when it notices where you direct your time, attention, and energy, the universe is constantly showing you signs and introducing you to people and ideas that nurture your dreams. All of these signs, symbols, and clues are coming to you to help you gain more clarity about your dreams and your heart's desires. When you remember to give thanks to new insights that occur to you, your spiritual helpers realize you are noticing what they are putting on your path, and more will be revealed. How many of you pay attention to actual signs that you might see when you drive around? Billboards, advertisement signs, bumper stickers, street signs, church marquees. You might notice songs with lyrics that are special to you, or music that sings messages directly that can solve problems in your life. Notice what you are noticing. Clarity comes in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes clarity comes in the form of a person, an animal, or a book, showing up for you just when you need to be bringing about the birth of a new dream. Use your 6 senses for the signs and write them down. Spirit loves fun and wants you to play along. So see the signs where they're planted. While finishing up this talk, I found clarity from one of my favorite sources. Hanging from my yogi tea bag was this gem. The unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. Unity's daily word booklet is a source where I purposely look for signs and synchronistic thoughts. Today's word was desire. My desires lead me to live fully from my divine identity. When I consider the desires of my heart, I take care to search within. It may be tempting to tie my desires to material goods and worldly success, but the thing I treasure most, love, peace, and freedom, derived from God, are mine by right of divine inheritance. I pay attention to the things of the world for which I may yearn. That which catches my interest and rekindles my imagination will likely lead me into a fuller expression and experience of life. As I pursue my passions and desires, I live more intently and routinely draw upon the power of divine gifts. Now my heart's desire is to give all I can to life in the way only I can give. Don't you just love it when something like that shows up for a talk that you're giving on the very topic? Clarity is so important to the work of your heart. When you are clear, you become more focused on being who you are meant to be and doing what you are meant to do. I believe each one of us has been charged with the purpose of discovering and fully delivering who we are meant to be and do in this lifetime. Each one of us has been given the responsibility to discover our gifts and talents and to then nurture them in a way that serves our highest good. Clarity gives us the confidence to act on our dreams for the betterment of our individual corners of the world. Henry David Thoreau explained it this way: our truest life is when we are in dreams awake. Listen to that again. Our truest life is when we are in dreams awake. There are two ways in which your dreams call to you: through your longing and through your discontent. Your longing is that which you desire to bring into your life. Your discontent are those areas in which you need to let go, the areas that either you've outgrown or no longer serve you and your dreams. Empowering questions lead to powerful answers. Your third step is to ask yourself empowering questions. This is always a worthy use of time when solving problems or looking at things from a new perspective. My advice: start your question in an open-ended way, often starting with what or why. For instance, what are 3 actions I can take with what I have right here and now? I have found that if you ask a how question, you're likely to shut down, because if you knew how to do it, you'd already be doing it, right? I found that if it occurs to me to ask a certain question, the universe already has the answer, and that answer can be accessed by all of us. Notice what it is you long for and ask for yourself. What ideas are answers to my longing? Just ask the question and see what comes back. Write down the answers that come. Even if you wonder whether or not they're good enough, keep writing ideas. It's like priming a pump, and more insightful ideas will rise in your consciousness. Write them down and let them marinate on the page. Sometimes ideas come to you when it's not quite their time for manifesting. When you save them for another time, you might find that there are other pieces to the puzzle that needed to be worked out before an idea found its perfect timing. When you've discovered your longings, turn your attention to your discontent. Ask, what insights and ideas are the antidotes to my discontent. Be honest with yourself. We live in a world of duality, so it is important to understand those things that cause you discontent as much as those for which you long. By knowing what you don't want, you can more clearly see what you do want. Sometimes you will get discouraged at what feels like slow progress. I have found this question to be a good one to ask when dreams aren't manifesting as quickly as I would like. I ask, what if this is what it looks like on the way to my dream? This question has brought me back to the present moment and helps fuel patience. I have also adopted a couple of Rumi's quotes as my personal motto. Life is rigged in my favor. Everything works out for me. I have integrated these ideas so deeply into my belief system that when something doesn't go as planned, I accept it and trust that the universe has my back. I have been able to manage my disappointment and release it much quicker when I hold to this belief. Once you have clarity about your heart's desires, your dreams, the next step is to activate the mental faculty of imagination. Imagination is one of the greatest gifts you've been given. It is your most powerful transformational tool because each of our minds sees in pictures. Use your imagination to create a new life, a new house, a new partner, excellent health, supportive loved ones, exciting travel adventures, meaningful work, more abundance, spiritual growth, world peace, a new you. Einstein put it this way: imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. With your imagination, you are forward thinking, but doing it in the present moment. You fall in love with an idea, your dream, your heart's desire. You use your power of imagination to bring it into reality. This is the creative process that Steve talked about from Hamid Bey's reading. See yourself living the life you would love to live. Visualize yourself in the realm of possibilities, surrounded by the people and the things that you love. Invoke the law of specificity and imagine every last detail for what you are imagining. I call it 5 sensorizing your vision. Use your imagination to see, smell, hear, feel, touch what you are visualizing. Hamid said, if you persist in your imagination, eventually its power will develop because imagination is the seed of thought which is fulfilled through action. The mind is very elastic. Where attention goes, energy grows. The subconscious mind is like a computer. As you lovingly think about your dreams, nurture the feelings that you would have if you were living your dream like right now. And act as if claiming your I amness, and you will bring that transformational power into your world. That subconscious mind, it's a computer. So whatever you put in, it plays that program. So you want to be very conscious about what kind of program you want to pull up to manifest your dreams. Hamid instructs us to bring an idea to fulfillment, you have to give it more voltage, willpower. It is wise for you to always be on the level of mental activity for which have a feeling and love. The emotional part is that key. When we add emotion, when we truly love something, then we amplify its power as it comes through into our lives. Some people have said, Darcy, that's all fine and good, but if I'm trying to affirm my dreams and there's something inside of me that doesn't believe it, how can it happen? Well, I have found my own workaround in this matter because this has been a problem that I have had to solve for myself. Affirmative statements are great, but they don't work if you don't believe them. Hamid stated this many times in his lessons to us. I know for myself that I have to fully believe the statement because one of my core values, that I hold in high esteem, is honesty. And I can always tell if I'm not feeling like that's an honest statement. So I know I have to believe it for it to be effective. For instance, I may want a new car, and I might say, I'm so happy and grateful to have a new car by the end of this year. If I feel any kind of resistance in my body, for me, it's either tightness in my throat or tightness in my chest, then I know that there is a part of me that doesn't believe that whole statement. Magnetic attraction of an idea cannot be properly activated if I don't fully believe it. So to fully believe what I'm saying, I have to change my statement so that my nervous system will calm down and believe me. So I might say instead, it is my intent to arrange my finances so that I can buy a new car by the end of December 2023. I am grateful. By saying it is my intent, my nervous system relaxes and believes that saying it is my intent is a true statement. I can then vibrate in the frequency of the possibility of a new car. Eventually, I start to see that dream through eyes of heightened awareness. When you align your heart and imagination, you add action. You will be unstoppable because you will create an energetic match to your heart's desire. As Einstein professed, match the frequency of the reality you want, and it is yours. You do this by putting on the dreams, acting as if it has already come to be. If you want a new job, start by loving and being grateful for the job you have. Then imagine yourself in the new job that you would love. Start dressing like that employee. Find ways to bring value to the current position you hold. Network where you find people who work in the kind of job that you desire. Educate yourself about where you might find that kind of company. And learn all you can about the employer of your dreams and the culture that might be instilled within that company. Through all that magnetism, imagination, and action, you will find more opportunities. Your eyes will be open to see what you may not have seen before. The transformation power of attraction needs more information to help you attract your perfect life. You don't call up on Amazon and say, oh, just send me something you think I'd like. No, you give Amazon the specific item number, and if it's applicable, the size, the color, the specifics about that item before you order it. The universe works the same way. The more specific you can get, the better. If you are putting in positive images for what you would like, the universe delights and says, oh, that's what you would love to do. Let's make that happen. This is how the law of specificity works. Why does this matter to you? As a spiritual being living in this physical world of duality, you have your spiritual purpose to fulfill while still living in a human existence. Clarify it, write it, question it, imagine it, then bathe it all in gratitude and hold your dreams with an open hand, saying, thank you, God. This or something better still. Trust that God knows best what your dream needs. Your heartfelt thoughts with your faculty of imagination are powerfully transformative. You know the truth of this. So let's use these principles collectively to raise the energy of our world. So I'd like to do a little exercise with you. So if you will get comfortable and take a long, deep cleansing breath and close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Slowly filling your lungs, then slowly exhaling. Match the length of your exhalation with that of your inhalation. Release the thoughts of the day and focus on your heart, breathing in and out through your heart. Each time you breathe in, feel the expansion of your heart, and as you breathe out, visualize the love energy from your heart radiating out as a beam of pink light pulsating around your room. Bring a slight smile to your lips, invoking the feeling of love and friendliness. Continue to breathe and see, sense, and feel the expansion of this love energy as it envelops your community like a blanket of pink, love-infused light, wrapping around every person, place, and thing, filling them with this love energy. Imagine yourself viewing your community from a bird's eye view, seeing the blanket of pink light filled with love energy, blessing your community with love, peace, and vitality. And breathe. Continue to breathe and see, sense, and feel the expansion of this love energy as it envelops the state where you live, wrapping everything and everyone who dwells there in the pink light of love's energy. Imagine this pink love energy as it covers the cities, the towns, the villages, the countryside, the land, the waterways, the air, blessing it all with love, peace, and vitality. And breathe. As you continue to breathe, see, sense, and feel the expansion of this love energy as you float higher, watching the pink light as it envelops your country, infusing the entire nation from coast to coast, from border to border. Imagine everything and everyone in it being raised up in consciousness through the transformative power of love. Imagine this pink light love energy as it covers the cities and towns, the villages, the countryside, the land, the waterways, the air, blessing it with all the love, peace, and vitality it needs. And breathe. As you continue to breathe, see, sense, and feel the expansion of this love energy as you float higher still, visualizing our entire planet enveloped in this powerful pink light of love energy, pulsating around the globe. Imagine the healing power of this love energy benefiting the global community, raising the vibration of our entire planet and its inhabitants. Imagine this pink light transforming the hearts and minds of all beings on Earth to pulse with the heartbeat of universal love. And breathe in love and breathe out gratitude for the collective consciousness of those visualizing with us today. And breathe. See your energy coming back to Earth, to this place in which you sit. Begin to come back into your body in this time and this space. Feel that upon which you sit. Hear the sounds around you. Touch your hand to your heart, feeling the aliveness of your own love energy. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Allow your eyes to flutter open, looking around you, coming back fully into this time and space. Notice within you the transformative power of love and feel gratitude for being an instrument of that love, light, and peace, knowing it has blessed you as well as others in our global family. And so it is. And welcome back. In closing, remember the 5 steps we use to align our dreams to our hearts and imaginations to manifest transformative power in our lives. Number 1, clarity. And in that clarity, invoke the law of specificity. Number 2, write things down. Write it all down. Don't lose the moment. Capture the thoughts, ideas, and let that love live on through transformative power. Number 3, ask empowering questions so that you receive empowering answers. Number 4, use your imagination. Visualize the best version of yourself to become a vibrational match with what you would love. Number 5, use gratitude. Be ever mindful of cultivating an attitude of gratitude. Remember where we began this evening. Listen to your heart and use your imagination. Practice this simple, universal truth to build transformative power in your life. I leave you with this one last quote from our teacher, Master Hamid Bey. It reads like a blessing. May God's rich power of understanding engrave itself on your heart and mind. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Darcy. That was wonderful. Great. Very, very informative, very imaginative, and nice practical ideas that people could take home and practice today. to really
Absolutely.
apply that in their lives. Are there any questions, any thoughts, any sharing? Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for that beautiful meditation enveloping the entire planet in love, and especially I was thinking about the whole Israeli-Palestinian mess and just focusing love on that. So thank you.
Thank you. I had that in mind. Thank you for all being a part of that, as we all, where two or more are gathered.
When you were talking about how you have to carefully word your affirmations to avoid tripping off the BS detector. I've found myself being highly sensitive to that as well. And my workaround was to eliminate the words completely and just simply imagine the situation that I would like to manifest and enter into that imagination to such depth that it feels real. And then as just one example, there's been a couple of times when I wanted to replace the car that I had. And as I was driving down the road, I would look at my hands on the steering wheel, and I would imagine that I'm holding a different steering wheel and that the dashboard in front of the steering wheel is a little different and the hood in front of that is a little different. And I would see the actual road that I'm driving on and everything that I'm passing, and I would pay attention to that, but I would imagine the different car in the midst of the current reality. And so I would blend my visualization with reality. And it's kind of interesting because there were 3 different times when I did that, and it led to basically someone giving me a car. One time it was Linda's parents. They were trading in a car and they let me have their old car for $1. And it's like, okay, well, that's good. It met the criteria of what I was looking for. Another time my mom was upgrading her car, and so she gave me the car that she had at that time, which I still have. So that's 2 situations where that worked. And there's been a lot of other times when just by imagining what you want in enough detail, you don't even need the words. And the way that I tend to teach it, or at least what I have done, is if you can pretend that you are in that end result that you want to be in. And if you can imagine being in that situation, just pretend that you're there. I mean, when we were children, we pretended to be things that we were not. And through that pretending, you're able to speak to that pretend reality and says, okay, I have this, I have that, I am doing this, I am serving in this way. And you can speak within that world of pretend and be fully congruent with that, so the words don't trip off any alarm bells.
Well, that's the part of acting as if, because when you do that, then you create that that energetic bond of becoming what it is that you would love. And so that's a thank you for sharing that. That's really a great way to do it. Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. Is this real or is this pretend? Who cares? This is what they're doing. So, okay, we're going to jump on board and we're going to support whatever that is. So that's why you want to keep the thoughts and process on a higher frame, mindset, because, the subconscious mind won't judge you if, okay, they're having, I guess we're doing this today. And it might not be something that serves you as well. So you always want to make sure that you are that energetic match, that magnetism that Hamid talks about. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, in terms of the different levels of mind, the conscious mind is the only one hampered by logic. The other levels of mind don't care.
Right.
Well, and something to add to that too, I found in terms of manifesting that the more you can let spirit fill in the spaces, the better. Because in putting limitations on it, you're putting limitations on it. So by just saying, you know, spirit, bring what's best for me in this aspect at this time in my life, whatever it might be, you know, in that regard too, and then these everything else too, it helps because I found as I put more detail into it, those details become gotchas, as I call them.
Mm.
You know, they come with the karmic surprise. And so for me personally, I like to just, say whatever, like when I worked on this house that I live in now, I was like, Spirit, you know better than I do. And, there were so many different things that I would have never thought about, that Spirit just filled in the blanks and made it all perfect for me. So, yeah.
Is there something better still?
Yes, it's
Why
always
you hold a vision with an open hand. If you're hanging on to an idea so tightly that there's no room for, I don't know about you, but I'd like to think that God knows a lot more about my what's best for me than I do.
And that's why we have lack in the first place, because we think we know better, right?
Yeah. It's a human foible.
Yes.
Yeah, the way that has worked out for me is that I've realized that sometimes you think you want certain things, and going to the point about being specific about what you want. What I've realized is that most of the time what I really want is just simply to be happy. And so I focus on what I truly want. I want to be happy. And so I'm going to manifest happiness. And then because that is where my focus is, things just happen around me that contribute to happiness. And sometimes it's things I didn't even think about. I wouldn't have even considered.
That actually came to me in the meditation once where I said, God, what do you want from me? I just want you to be happy. And it was like, was there something else? I thought that was way too simple. I don't know I don't know whether I expected he was going to say, well, you need to sell everything and go to India and help the poor. I don't know what I thought was going to come out of that meditation, but it was so simply delightful. Be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Try to remember that.
Yeah, Richard Bach in Illusions says something like that, where everyone is saying, "Oh, Master, we'll do anything you ask us to do. Just name it, and we will do it. We are yours." And the Master says, "Be happy," and they're like, "Huh? Anything but that."
Yeah, right.
Is there something else?
I think I misunderstood. What?
Yeah.
Hearing you wrong?
Yeah.
Try the other ear.
Yeah. That's great. Well, welcome, Barbara. I see you've joined. So we're just, I guess, finishing up. Oh, there she is. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I had another call I had to be on.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We're glad you could make it. We're, I think we're just about wrapping up. Is there any other questions or any thoughts or anything anybody wants to share?
Just thank you, Darcy. That was excellent.
You're welcome. Thank you for the
Yes,
opportunity.
Sure.
Packed with all kinds of good things to think about and not think about.
And do.
Yeah.
Take the action.
Yeah. I would, one more thing, I would add from my experiences, the higher up you can bring your level of vibration or consciousness, the more successful your manifestation will be. If you're down in the, like if you look at the Dr. David Hawkins' level of hierarchy of consciousness, if you're down in apathy, you're not going to be very successful. Whereas if you're up in unconditional love, you're so much more powerful in your manifestation. And I really liked, your fifth point was gratitude, because that's what brings you up into that spot, that energy, by having that gratitude, by feeling, like what a couple have said about the feeling of joy or the feeling of happiness. That brings your energy up so that you are in that place of power and your frequency. And so I really like that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Because you can't have gratitude and apathy at the same time. They're not congruent. So why not pick gratitude, right?
Exactly.
And love and joy.
I had an interesting experience with this tree coming down, and I was talking to the gentleman that worked for Monster Tree Service. And he said, "Oh, we'll be back tomorrow and finish up." And I said, "Well, that's okay, And he goes, "Wow, most people are like, you better be back here, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, it doesn't do any good to get all worked up about it. So I've actually, a couple days into it, I'm like, wow, I really handled that pretty calmly. And I'm like, good. Now I know I can do it.
And think about that. He's going to be more likely to come back to a house where you were calm about it instead of making demands. And he's kind of thinking, oh man, that customer was not happy with me the last time we talked. So,
and he was the guy that got on. They brought this huge truck, like as big or bigger than a fire truck, with a big boom on it, and they lowered that down, and there was a ball on it, and this guy crawled up on the ball, and they lifted him onto my roof. And I mean, wouldn't be me up there. I'm not really afraid of heights, but holy moly. Then he was up there with a chainsaw pulling that branch out, or, that huge branch out of my roof. So, everybody kind of has their own calm. I was like inspired, I think.
Just had a lot of good angel wings there,
Yeah, I know. They had him up and down so many times. He was tying ropes around limbs and brush and all that stuff. It was amazing. I have tons of pictures. I couldn't resist. But yeah, it's like, don't get so worked up about it. It'll all come out in the wash, right?
Yeah, about it.
and just the fact that you're aware of it, that, as we do these kinds of things, we just become aware in real time, like, yeah. And then
yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've said a prayer and said, thank you for the awareness. That word is huge.
absolutely.
Yep.
Very good. All righty. Well, thank you, everyone. Just as a last minute reminder, we do have our 11/11 event this Saturday in Grand Rapids and Hudsonville. It'll be online and in person. So it'd be great to see the folks that are in town, if you can make it, to come by, and we can share health fellowship and real hugs instead of energy or Zoom hugs, right? And if not, if you can't make it in person, hopefully we'll see you on Zoom. So if there's nothing else, we'll wrap up for today. And thank you, Darcy, and thank you, everyone, for your great contribution. And it was really great, very inspiring. And thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Everyone.